Hello everyone, and welcome to Dead Time Stories. What if the very things that send shivers down your spine could also lull you into the deepest sleep? Imagine drifting off to unsettling whispers, perfectly balanced by the soothing rhythm of falling rain. I know many of you enjoy listening to these videos as you fall asleep, so before you drift off, I'd love for you to leave a comment letting me know where in the world you're tuning in from. And if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and subscribe. Alright, now let's get comfortable, relax, and dive into tonight's story. The road that winds past the edge of town is not used often anymore. Its cracked pavement and crooked telephone poles seem forgotten, as though the town itself has chosen to look the other way. Only those who don't know better wander here, and tonight you are one of them. The sun is low, melting into streaks of amber and violet, and with each step you take, the world grows quieter. The faint rumble of traffic behind you has gone still, the laughter of children in nearby yards faded. You walk alone now, and even the air feels heavy with expectation. And then you see it. The house. It slouches against the horizon, its roof dipping in the middle like tired shoulders bowed beneath time. Windows glimmer faintly in the last light, but they show nothing inside, only the pale reflection of the dying sky. A broken porch juts outward, boards gaping like teeth in a crooked jaw. You've heard the stories. Everyone has. How at dusk, whispers begin inside its walls. Not the creaks of old timber or the whistle of wind through cracks, but voices, murmuring, sighing, always just beyond understanding. Tonight, the air cools as you draw closer. Crickets fall silent, cut off mid-chirp as though silenced by command. You stop, and for a moment the entire world stops with you. Then, from within the house, it begins, a low, hushed sound. A whisper curling like smoke, threading through the empty windows. You cannot hear words, but the cadence is unmistakable. It is not lonely. It is expectant. The gate looms ahead, iron eaten with rust but standing firm. Without realizing it, you reach out. The metal is slick beneath your fingers, though the night is dry. You recoil slightly, and that's when you see it, a flicker in the upstairs window. Not light, not movement. Something in between, like the afterimage of a figure that had been there, watching. Your breath catches. The whisper swells. And somehow, you know it is aware of you. Don't, a voice says softly. You spin. At first, you think the road is empty. Then you notice her, a girl standing at the edge of the ditch, half hidden by overgrown grass. Her dress is pale, old-fashioned, and her face is ghostly in the dim light. She can't be more than 12. What did you say? You manage. Don't touch it. Her voice is steady, though her eyes flick constantly to the house. It doesn't like being touched. You look at the gate, then back at her. You mean the house? She nods. The wind stirs, cold and sudden. The whispering rises, like a chorus of unseen mouths pressed against the walls. You step back from the gate, unsettled by how the sound seems pleased. The girl hugs her arms around herself. It talks to anyone who gets too close, but it only invites a few inside. Your skin prickles. Invites? She looks at you then, her expression sharp and strange for someone so young. If you hear it call your name, it's already chosen you. You wait for her to laugh, to smile, to reveal this is all a trick. But she doesn't. She only stares at the house, her lips pale as if drained of blood. And then, as if on cue, you hear it. A shift in the whispering, a syllable shaped from breath, sliding across the air. It is faint, but unmistakable. It says your name. The sound of your name lingers in the air long after it's spoken, dissolving into the hush of the evening like smoke curling into the sky. You freeze, your pulse hammering in your throat. You tell yourself it could be coincidence, a trick of wind through rotten wood, but you know, that wasn't the wind. The girl takes a sharp breath. It's too late. What do you mean? Your voice comes out too quickly, too harsh, as though if you speak loud enough you can shatter whatever has settled around you. She doesn't answer. Instead, she backs into the tall grass, her pale dress rustling softly. You should go home, she whispers. Don't look back. Don't listen. And if it calls again, don't answer. Before you can speak, she's gone, swallowed by the shadows. The grass bends where she passed, then stills. Alone again, you stand by the gate, staring up at the house. The whispering rises and falls, a tide against your ears. Your name slides through the murmur once more, clearer this time, deliberate. You step back, heart pounding. And yet, something pulls at you. A strange tug beneath your ribs, as though the house has thrown an invisible thread around your chest. You stumble away, but each step feels heavy, sluggish. The further you move from the gate, the more the whispers swell, not fading but chasing you, wrapping around you like tendrils. Finally, breath ragged, you break into a run. You don't stop until the house is a memory behind you, its broken silhouette swallowed by distance. And yet, as you pause, hands on your knees, lungs burning, you hear it again, faint, impossibly faint, carried on the night air. Your name. That night, sleep doesn't come easily. You toss beneath your blanket, the image of the house burned into the back of your eyelids. Each time you close your eyes, you see that crooked roof, those empty windows. And somewhere in the distance of your mind, a whisper continues, unbroken, ceaseless. When you finally drift into slumber, the dream comes quickly. You're standing before the house again, though this time the road is gone. The world has melted away, leaving only the yard, the gate, and the gaping porch. The house seems taller now, looming overhead with impossible height, its windows yawning wide like eyes unblinking. The gate is open. You try to turn, but your body doesn't obey. Your feet carry you forward, through the weeds, toward the porch. Each step is muffled, as though the ground is padded with thick cloth. The whispering has grown louder, yet you realize now it isn't just sound, it is a vibration beneath your skin, a resonance in your bones. On the porch, the boards groan. The door, though closed, swells outward slightly with each whisper, as though the house itself is breathing. Then it opens. Inside is darkness, but not empty. Shapes stir at the edges, faint outlines, heads turning toward you though no eyes gleam in their sockets. They breathe together, a chorus of sighs. And through them, from the depths of the house, comes that voice again. The one that spoke your name. It does not whisper this time. It calls. You jolt awake, drenched in sweat, your throat raw as though you've been screaming. The room is dark, quiet. Too quiet. No hum of the refrigerator, no ticking of the clock. Only the faintest trace of a murmur at the edge of hearing. The whisper followed you home. Morning comes, but the light doesn't soothe you. The sun pours through the blinds in bright, orderly stripes, yet the house feels different. Off. The silence is heavy, like something listening from behind the walls. You move through your morning routine slower than usual. The faucet groans as water sputters into the sink. The toast burns because you forget to watch it. You keep glancing at the corners of the room, certain that if you catch them quickly enough, you'll see movement. By mid-afternoon, you're telling yourself it was a dream. Just a dream, nothing more. Still, when you step outside, your eyes are drawn to the edge of town, to that road that leads to the crooked house. You don't want to go back. You tell yourself you won't. But something nags at you, something soft and insistent, like an itch you can't reach. The whisper. It's quieter now, but not gone. Always there, threading through your thoughts. When dusk falls, the silence deepens again. The hum of cicadas falters, as though they too are holding their breath. And then, faint as a sigh, your name drifts through the darkened room. You spin, but no one's there. The curtains stir. The whisper is inside. Sleep is fractured. You drift, surface, sink again. When dreams finally take hold, you're walking once more along that cracked road. The weeds sway. The gate waits. And this time, the girl is there. She stands just beyond the ditch, pale dress brushing against the grass. Her eyes are darker now, shadowed as though sleepless for many nights. You went back, she says. You shake your head. I didn't. Not after you warned me. You dreamed of it. She counters, her voice sharp, almost accusing. Dreams are doors. Sometimes the house prefers those. Her words sink like stones in water. Why me? You ask, your voice trembling. For the first time, she looks directly at you. Her gaze is cold, too old for her small face. Because you listened. That's all it needs. A listener. Once you hear it, truly hear it, it follows. You swallow, throat dry. How do I stop it? She doesn't answer right away. She looks at the house instead. Tonight it looms larger, leaning into the dream with impossible height. Its windows gape open, hungry. Some doors, she whispers, don't close once they've been opened. You try to press her. Tell me what it wants. The girl's expression twists, part sorrow, part fear. It wants company. And as she says it, the whispering swells, flooding the dream. The shapes behind the windows stir. And you wake gasping, heart hammering, the sound of your name still echoing in your ears. The next morning feels wrong before you even open your eyes. There's a weight in the air, like the room is full of water, pressing down. You roll from bed, feet hitting the floorboards, and freeze. Someone has been in here. The closet door, always kept shut, is cracked open. The chair you left angled at your desk is turned toward the bed. And on the nightstand, resting beside your phone, is something you don't recognize, a shard of wood, splintered, dark with age. You pick it up carefully. It's smooth on one side, jagged on the other, as though torn from a wall. The smell is faint but unmistakable. Damp wood, mold, dust. The smell of the house. Your hand trembles. You drop it, and the shard hits the floor with a soft click. From the closet, a whisper stirs. By evening, you've convinced yourself it couldn't be real. Maybe you left the chair that way. Maybe the shard was lodged in your shoe and you carried it in without noticing. Maybe. But as the sun slips low, your nerves fray. Every sound seems magnified, the hum of the fridge, the tick of pipes in the walls. And threaded through it all is the whisper. Quieter now, almost patient. You can't take it. You grab your jacket and step outside, walking fast, as though you can outpace it. Before long, your feet lead you back toward that road. You don't want to admit it, but you know, you were heading here all along. The house waits, its silhouette jagged against the bruised sky. The gate glimmers with rust. And there, in the ditch, stands the girl. You shouldn't be here, she says. You came back. You reply, almost pleading. Tell me how to make it stop. Her expression is solemn. It doesn't stop. Not once it knows your name. You clench your fists. Then what do I do? She glances toward the house. The windows stare blankly back, dark and endless. Don't answer it, she whispers. No matter what it says. That's the only way you have a chance. And then she vanishes. One blink she's there, the next she's gone, leaving only the rustle of grass. But the whisper has grown louder. Your name curls through the air again, rolling off the walls of the house. And this time, it is followed by something worse. A laugh. That shard of wood won't leave you alone. You tried tossing it into the trash, but when you woke the next morning, it was back on the nightstand. You hurled it out the window last night in frustration, and yet this morning, there it was again, resting by your pillow as though it had never moved. It doesn't just sit there anymore. You swear it breathes. When the room falls still, you can hear it, faint, shallow inhalations, like air pulling through dry cracks. Sometimes, when you're brave enough to touch it, it feels warm. Other times, bitterly cold. You think of the girl's warning, don't answer it. But the whispering is persistent. At work, in the store, on the street, it threads into your ear like a parasite. Your coworkers glance at you when you flinch at nothing, when you whip your head around to find only empty air. Last night, lying in bed, the whisper had shaped itself into a sentence. You could swear you heard it as clearly as your own thoughts. You left something behind. Sleep comes heavy, dragging you under like deep water. When the dream forms, you are not on the road, not by the gate. You're already inside. The house is vast, cavernous, endless. Its walls breathe in slow rhythm, each inhale swelling the wallpaper outward, each exhale sighing dust into the air. The floorboards moan beneath your weight as though they're alive. Figures shift in the hallways. Pale outlines, transparent and unsteady, like smoke caught in a jar. They watch you but do not approach, their faces vague, blurred. Except one. At the end of the corridor, a man stands. He is clearer than the rest, his face sharp, his eyes dark wells. His lips move, forming words, but the whispering swallows them. You step closer, desperate to hear. The floor shudders under your footfall. Wallpaper peels, curling like skin under heat. The figures lean closer, silent, eager. Finally, the man's voice cuts through. Don't listen to her. You jolt awake, chest heaving. The girl's warning echoes in your mind, her voice fragile and urgent. Don't answer it. And now, another voice, deep and steady, offering a contradiction. Don't listen to her. You sit in the dark, your head in your hands, and realize you are caught between them. The girl, the house, and one of them is lying. The following evening, something new happens. You're sitting at the kitchen table, staring at the shard of wood lying between your hands. You haven't touched it in hours, but it feels like it's watching you, waiting. The clock on the wall ticks steadily, a small comfort in the silence. Then it stops. The hands freeze. The second hand hovers mid-step, suspended. You rise quickly, checking your phone. The screen glows, but the numbers won't change. 7:13, stuck. The whisper threads through the air, stronger now, curling around your ears. This time, it isn't your name. It's laughter, faint, gurgling, low. And then, beneath the laugh, a new sound, tapping. Slow, deliberate, wood on wood. It's coming from the hallway. You step forward, every muscle taut. The floor creaks. The tapping continues, steady, patient. You follow it, past the darkened living room, toward the closet door. The same one that opened on its own before. The tapping stops. You reach for the knob. Your hand trembles. You twist. The door swings wide on its own. The closet is empty. But at your feet, lying on the floorboards, is another shard of wood. This one larger, darker, edges wet as though pulled from something rotten. And from deep within the closet, the whisper exhales, cool against your face. Sleep avoids you again that night, but dreams do not. You find yourself standing in a long hallway lined with mirrors. They stretch upward, taller than any wall should allow, vanishing into darkness. In each reflection, you see yourself, pale, tired, eyes sunken. But not alone. Behind your reflection, the girl waits. Her small face floats in the glass, her lips forming silent words you can't hear. You press closer, palm against the cold surface. And suddenly, her voice blooms inside your skull. It's trying to wear you down. You stumble back, heart racing. Her eyes are wide, frantic. She leans closer in the reflection, though her body never moves from behind the glass. Don't let it in. The mirrors shudder. The reflections ripple like water. Your own face blurs, warps, stretches. Dozens of versions of you open their mouths in unison, and from them pours the whisper. It is deafening now. Endless. 1,000 voices, all shaping your name. The girl slams her palm against the glass, her voice cutting through the cacophony. Wake up. You jolt upright in your bed, gasping. Your room is dark, silent. For a moment you believe you've escaped. Until you see it. The mirror across from your bed is fogged over, as though someone stood before it, breathing. And in the condensation, traced with a careful finger, is one word. Come. By the third night, you've stopped throwing the shards away. It doesn't matter. They always return. The first lies on your nightstand, pale and splintered. The second rests on your desk, its jagged edges dark, as though steeped in damp earth. Tonight the third appeared, this time at the foot of your bed. You woke with a start when your heel struck something hard beneath the blanket. Kicking it free, you found the shard lying against your ankle, warm, almost pulsing, as though it had been clutched in a living hand. 3 shards now. A pattern. A rhythm. You can't help but wonder if there will be more. The whisper follows you through the day. You hear it when no one else reacts, when your coworkers laugh or when a stranger brushes past you in the grocery store. It's there, always there, threading beneath the noise of the world. When you try to block it out with music, it only grows louder, sinking with the bass, curling into the lyrics. When you cover your ears, it vibrates in your bones. Tonight, as you sit in the dark with the shards arranged before you, you notice something else. They line up. The splintered edges fit like puzzle pieces, forming the jagged outline of a door. And when the last piece clicks into place, though you haven't found it yet, you know what will happen. A door will open. Sleep is shallow. Dreams gnaw at you, and when you wake, the whisper hasn't faded. Tonight, the air is restless, wind pressing against the house in long sighs. Shadows tremble across your walls. You tell yourself it's nothing unusual, until you see him. At first, you think it's another shadow. But then you realize it's fixed, unmoving, distinct. A figure stands outside your bedroom window, half shrouded in darkness. Tall. Thin. Its outline blurs, as though smoke curls around its form. You freeze. Your breath stops. Slowly its head tilts, the angle unnatural, almost boneless. The whisper rises in your ears, your name repeated in a rhythm that syncs with the beat of your pulse. You want to scream. To run. But you can't move. The figure leans closer, pressing against the glass without sound, without breath. Its hand lifts. Pale fingers splay wide, pressing flat against the window pane. You see then that its hand is not whole. Pieces are missing. Chunks of flesh gone, as though torn away. The gaps reveal splintered wood beneath. You shut your eyes tight, forcing yourself to count. 1, 2, 3. When you open them again, the window is empty. But the glass bears a smear, long and wet, as though something had dragged its hand across while watching you. And on the floor, beneath the sill, lies the fourth shard. 4 shards now. You've stopped pretending it's coincidence. They sit arranged on your desk, their jagged edges fitting neatly together like the edges of a puzzle. Each time a new one appears, the shape grows clearer, a doorway, narrow and tall, warped as though sketched by a trembling hand. You try not to touch them, but sometimes you wake to find one in your palm, clenched so tightly it cuts into your skin. The wood doesn't just splinter, it bites. Tiny slivers bury themselves beneath your flesh, and when you pull them free, they bleed more than they should. At work, you find yourself sketching without realizing it, crude outlines of the house on the margins of papers, the shape of its crooked roof, the broken porch. Your coworkers notice. That old place? Thought it was condemned. One mutters when you hastily shove a drawing into your bag. You laugh it off, but the heat in your chest betrays you. The house is never far from your mind. That night you sit staring at the shards. The whisper is louder when you're near them, louder still when you lean close. For the first time, you hear a phrase clear as glass. The door is almost ready. You lurch back, heart thundering. The shards shift slightly on the desk, sliding together with a dry rasp. And in the silence after, you hear something else, a knock. Soft, patient, from the inside of the closet door. You ignore it at first. Pretend it isn't there. But the knocking comes again the next night, louder this time. 3 raps, steady, deliberate. Each one echoes through your chest like a second heartbeat. Finally, unable to bear it, you fling the closet open. Nothing. Just your clothes swaying on hangers. The smell of cedar and dust. And then, a voice behind you. You shouldn't have opened it. You spin. The girl is standing in your room. Not in the dream this time. Here. Her pale dress is the same, her eyes wide and frightened. She glances at the shards on the desk, then back to you. They'll keep coming until you finish it, she says, her voice urgent. Don't let them. You stagger closer. What are they? What does it want? She shakes her head. It wants you to step through. That's all it ever wants. Don't give it what it asks for. Then why are you helping me? You ask. For the first time, she falters. Her lips tremble. Because once, I didn't listen. And now. She trails off. Her form flickers, faint as smoke, before snapping back solid. And in that split second, you see her face differently, pale, yes, but splintered, cracks running through her skin like dry wood, seams filled with shadows. You step back. Your breath catches. The girl shakes her head violently, her outline breaking apart. Don't! And then she's gone. The whisper rushes in to fill the space she left, curling through the room, wrapping around your ears, your throat, your thoughts. Only one more piece. You try not to sleep, but exhaustion wins. When you wake, your head heavy and mouth dry, the fifth shard waits on the pillow beside you. Larger than the others, dark as if soaked in old blood, edges sharp enough to slice the sheet beneath it. You stare at it for a long time, unable to touch it. But the whisper doesn't wait. The frame is almost whole. You push yourself up, trembling. The other shards are still on the desk, their edges already aligning, forming the skeletal outline of the crooked door. The fifth slides across the wood on its own, clicking into place with a sound too loud for such a small thing. Your stomach twists. The air thickens. You can smell it now, damp earth, rot old wood. The house's scent, bleeding into your home. You grab the shards, hurl them across the room. They scatter like bones. But when you turn away, the outline remains. Dark against the wall, faint but visible. Not drawn. Not painted. A shadow of a door, waiting. That night, the whisper changes. It's not your name this time. It's humming. A tune, old and fragile, carried on breath too weak to sustain it. You leave your bedroom cautiously, the hum pulling you down the hallway. At the far end, beneath the dim bulb that flickers weakly overhead, stands a boy. You freeze. He's younger than the girl, maybe 8. His hair is dark, his clothes tattered. He hums softly, rocking on his heels, head bowed. Hey, you whisper. Your voice cracks. He stops humming. Slowly, his head lifts. His face is pale, hollow-cheeked, eyes too wide, too dark. You'll open it, he says. Not a question. A statement. His voice is flat, final. I won't. You manage. He tilts his head. You don't get to choose. None of us did. Your breath stutters. Who are you? The boy's lips twitch into something almost like a smile. But when he speaks again, his voice is not his own. It is layered, dozens of voices stacked, whispering in unison. One more shard. Then you'll see. The light overhead sputters. When it steadies, the boy is gone. On the floor where he stood lies the sixth shard. The sixth shard doesn't leave you alone. It's heavier than the rest, slick to the touch, damp as though pulled from a swamp. You tried locking it in a drawer, but the next morning, it was back on your bed, lying neatly where your head should rest. The pillow smelled of rot, of soil long undisturbed. The whisper never stops now. Not even in the daylight. At the grocery store, standing in line, you hear it between the beeps of the register. Walking to your car, you hear it in the crunch of gravel beneath your shoes. Even when someone talks directly to you, their voice threads with it, almost overtaken. At night you dream of children. More of them. They linger at the edge of the house's yard, thin, pale figures, their eyes too large, their mouths moving soundlessly. Some are no older than toddlers, their small hands gripping the rusted fence. Others are teenagers, slouched and restless, their faces hollowed out. They don't speak to you, not directly. But when they turn their heads, you see their skin. Splintered. Cracked. Dark seams running through them like veins filled with wood instead of blood. When you wake, you find splinters in your palms, your sheets stained faintly with something black. The sixth shard waits on your desk, trembling faintly, as though eager. That night the girl returns. You don't see her arrive. One moment, you're sitting on the edge of your bed, staring at the sixth shard. The next, she's standing in the corner, her pale dress brushing the floor, her face taut with urgency. It's almost finished, she says. Her voice is sharp, strained, like a violin string pulled too tight. You have to fight it. I can't stop them, you say hoarsely. They just appear. You can refuse, she insists. She steps closer, her outline flickering faintly. When the last shard comes, don't place it. Don't even look at it. Burn it, break it, bury it. Do whatever you can, but don't let the door complete. You shake your head. It puts them here, not me. What am I supposed to do when they... Her voice drops low. It doesn't want the door. It wants you. The shards are only a trick. It needs you to believe they matter. Don't give it the power. Her face trembles, cracks running briefly across her cheeks like spiderwebs before sealing again. You see her jaw twitch as though fighting something. Please, she whispers, voice trembling now. Don't make my mistake. The whisper swells then, drowning her out, louder than ever, rattling the windows, pressing into your skull until your eyes water. And when you can hear again, the girl is gone. In her place, lying neatly on your pillow, is the seventh shard. It lies in the center of your bed like a gift, or a curse. Larger than all the others, it gleams with dampness that never dries, as if pulled directly from the house's ribs. Its edges are sharp, serrated, and in the dim light you swear you see it twitch, just slightly, like a living thing. The other shards are no longer scattered. They've aligned themselves on your desk, forming a crooked arch of jagged wood. The seventh piece fits perfectly at the top, the keystone that would lock the shape into place. You don't touch it. You can't. Instead, you back away, heart hammering, whispering to yourself. Don't. Don't give it what it wants. But the whisper has grown cruel now. Louder. Insistent. It no longer calls just your name. It begs, cajoles, taunts. Finish it. Just one more. Don't leave me waiting. The air thickens until your chest feels crushed, until the weight of the house presses in from all directions. You fall into restless sleep with the shards still gleaming on the bed beside you. When you wake, it has moved. It sits now atop the others, perfectly in place, the door whole at last. The door is not made of wood. Not anymore. It looms against your bedroom wall, taller than you, narrow and crooked, its surface trembling faintly like skin stretched over bone. The shards are gone, absorbed into it, their jagged outlines visible beneath the surface as though they've been swallowed whole. You don't want to look at it, but your eyes won't leave it. The whisper pours from the seams, filling the room, coiling around you. Step through. You back against the opposite wall, shaking your head, whispering, No, no, no. Then you hear her voice, the girl's voice, sharp and urgent, cutting through the din. Don't answer it. You snap your head toward the sound. She's there, flickering in the corner, her face pale and cracked, hands outstretched. But her voice is drowned quickly, overwhelmed by another, the man from your dream. His tone is steady, commanding. She lies. Step through. It's the only way. The two voices battle in your ears, tearing you in half. The girl's desperate warning, the man's calm command, the house's endless whisper. Your head pounds. Your vision swims. And in the wall, the door pulses once, like a heartbeat. You can't sleep. Not with it there. The door doesn't just stand, it breathes. Its surface swells with each inhale, then collapses inward with each exhale, rattling faintly like lungs filled with dust. You try covering it with a blanket, but the fabric clings unnaturally, sticking as though the surface is damp, until you tear it away in panic. The voices are constant now. Not whispers, not fragments, but full sentences woven together into a ceaseless chorus. Step through and it ends. Step through and you'll be free. Don't step through. Don't listen. The girl flickers in and out of sight, more unstable each time. You catch her sometimes in the corner of your vision, hands pressed against her temples, whispering, Don't. But the man's voice is steady, always clear. You never see him in waking, only hear him, deep, calm, coaxing. The house chose you. That's an honor. Don't waste it. By morning, you realize you haven't slept at all. The door is still there, waiting. And every time you blink, you think it leans closer. The following night, the temperature plummets. Your breath fogs in the air, drifting pale against the dark. The door glistens with frost, its surface trembling as though excited. Then you hear them, footsteps outside. Dozens of them, crunching softly against the ground. You stagger to the window and look down. They're there. The children. Not just a handful this time, a crowd. Dozens, maybe more, lining the street, the yard, the fence. Some sit cross-legged on the pavement. Others stand, heads tilted at impossible angles, watching. Their eyes gleam faintly in the dark, reflecting nothing but hunger. One of the smallest, a boy no older than 5, steps forward. His mouth opens, but the sound that comes out is not his. "We're waiting." The others join him. Mouths open, whispering in unison. The sound rises, a tide of voices, all threading together, all calling your name. The girl flickers beside you, her form breaking apart with each surge of sound. "Don't listen!" she cries, but her voice is nearly gone, a thin reed in a storm. The man's voice, however, is louder than ever, steady, unshaken. "They've gathered for you. Don't disappoint them." The door swells, its surface straining outward, seams splitting slightly to reveal the black beyond. You stumble back, pressing against the farthest wall, covering your ears. But it doesn't help. The whispers are inside your skull now. By now, the house is inside everything. You wake with splinters embedded beneath your nails. Your sheets smell of mildew, your pillow damp with soil. The door breathes louder each night, rattling the picture frames on the walls, sending vibrations through the floorboards. You notice cracks spreading across your skin. At first, you thought they were scratches. Now they look different. Thin, dark lines, branching like veins, except they don't follow the path of blood. They crawl across your arms, your chest, your face, as though your body itself is splintering. You try to scrub them away, tearing at your skin with soap, with your nails, until you bleed. But the lines only deepen. The girl appears again, broken, her voice ragged. "It's changing you," she whispers. "Piece by piece. That's how it keeps you." "Then why fight?" you rasp. "If it's already too late." "No!" Her cry is sharp, desperate. Her hands clutch at her head as her face flickers, half wood, half flesh. "It's never too late if you don't answer." Her form shatters, vanishes. And in her absence, the man's voice rolls through the room, steady as ever. "Why resist? It hurts because you resist. Step through, and the pain will end." The door pulses, swelling outward, as though eager to prove him right. That night you dream of the house. Not standing before it, not circling its porch. Inside. Always inside. The halls stretch on, endless, lined with shadows. The air is thick with whispers, thousands, millions, overlapping, weaving into one constant roar. It is unbearable. You cover your ears, scream for it to stop. And then it does. The silence is worse. Because now you hear them clearly. The children. Dozens of them, scattered through the hall, faces pale, eyes dark. They're closer than ever before, their mouths moving in perfect unison. "Open it!" they chant. "Open it, open it, open it!" One girl steps forward, no older than 12. She looks almost like the one who's been warning you, but her eyes are hollow, her smile cracked. "Don't you want to see what we saw?" she asks sweetly. You stumble back. "No, I don't." The man appears then, tall, sharp, his figure clear against the blur of shadows. His eyes are fathomless, his smile calm. "Then why do you keep coming back?" The house shudders around you, its walls trembling with anticipation. The door appears at the far end of the hall, its crooked frame pulsing like a heartbeat. You wake screaming, drenched in sweat, the echo of voices still clinging to the air. The door in your room breathes heavier, louder, and this time, when you glance at it, you see hands pressing from the other side. You don't move all night. The door trembles in the wall, its seams splitting wider, and the hands press harder from the other side. Pale fingers splay against the surface, pushing, scraping, desperate to claw their way through. Some of them are small, children's hands. Others are large, jagged, twisted, their nails too long, blackened. One drags slowly across the surface, leaving gouges in the wood skin as though marking its place. You try not to look, but the sound is worse, the scratching, the tapping, the endless whispering bleeding through. When morning finally comes, the hands are gone. The door looks normal again, crooked and still. But deep in your chest, you feel the truth, they're waiting. By the next night, the cracks in your skin are spreading. They climb across your arms like veins of rot. Each movement sends splinters loose, tiny slivers of wood prickling from beneath your flesh before falling to the floor. You sweep them up in panic, stuffing them into the trash. But no matter how many you gather, the pile grows larger. When you look in the mirror, you see it, a black line crawling from the corner of your eye, splitting outward like a crack in glass. Your reflection stares back at you, unblinking, as the crack deepens. The girl appears suddenly in the glass behind you. Her voice trembles. You don't have much time. Her hands reach toward you, palms flat against the mirror. Don't give it the last of you. Don't. Her words cut off. Her form flickers violently, splitting into fragments. And then, for the first time, you hear her scream. You stagger back, but not before a sliver of glass breaks free, slicing your cheek. You touch your face, and when you pull your hand away, a splinter is lodged in your fingertip. The whisper fills the room, thick with laughter. Almost ready. By the 7th night, you've stopped pretending you're alone. The children return, more of them now, filling the yard, the street, the sidewalks. Their pale faces glow faintly in the dark, their eyes wide, reflecting the weak light of the moon. You stand at your window, frozen, as they tilt their heads in unison. Then, as though cued by an unseen conductor, they begin to hum. It isn't a song you recognize, but the melody coils in your chest like a memory you almost remember. Low, steady, unnerving in its sweetness. Their mouths never move. The hum pours from them nonetheless. You slam the curtains shut, but it doesn't help. The sound leaks through, vibrating in the walls, in the floorboards, in your bones. The door in your room throbs with each note. You swear you see it swell, the surface bulging outward, seams splitting wider. And above the hum, one voice rises clear. The man's voice, calm and steady, threading through the chorus like a leader guiding his flock. You see how they wait for you? Don't keep them waiting. That night the girl returns, but she isn't whole. Her body flickers violently, splitting into jagged halves that stutter out of sync. One moment she's a child, pale and fragile. The next, her form twists, her skin webbed with cracks, her mouth opening too wide, her voice warped into static. She tries to speak, but the words fracture mid-sentence. Don't and swear it. Her eyes blaze with panic as she claws at her own face, as though trying to hold it together. Splinters burst from her cheeks, her hands, her arms. She stumbles forward, reaching for you, voice a desperate screech. Don't let it. Then she shatters like glass. Her pieces scatter across the floor, glowing faintly, flickering. You kneel, trembling, reaching for one. The shard of her body is warm, pulsing like a heartbeat. When you lift it, her voice sighs from within the splinter. Please! You drop it instantly. And from the door, laughter bellows, louder than ever. The cracks on your skin are no longer hidden. They snake across your arms in jagged lines, climbing your neck, branching into your cheeks. Your lips split when you speak. Every word tastes faintly of sawdust. You try to bandage them, but the cloth soaks quickly, not with blood, with something darker, thicker, smelling of damp wood. The more you move, the more splinters break free, scattering across the floor like brittle teeth. You sweep them up, again and again, but they always return. They crunch beneath your steps. They gather in corners. Once, you wake to find them scattered across your chest like a handful poured from above. The mirror betrays you now. Your reflection lags, moving slower than you do, its mouth opening wider, its eyes too dark. When you lean closer, it doesn't lean back, it tilts its head, watching. And faintly, in your own voice, it whispers, "Step through." Another night. Another gathering. You hear them before you see them, the children, marching in the street outside. Dozens, maybe hundreds, their footsteps soft but endless, circling the block in steady rhythm. You peer through the curtains. Their faces are lifted now, no longer vacant. They're smiling. Thin, cracked smiles stretching across pale skin. As they pass your house, each one turns their head in unison. Their mouths open. Not whispers this time. Laughter. It rolls across the street in a wave, high and low, shrill and guttural, hundreds of voices tangled into one sound that rattles the glass of your window. The door trembles behind you, swelling with each burst, it seems splitting wider. You can see into the cracks now, blackness within, not empty but pulsing, alive. The man's voice cuts through the laughter, steady as ever. It's almost time. You turn back to the window, and the children have stopped. Every one of them is staring up at you. And in perfect unison, they mouth your name. You wake in the middle of the night, lungs heaving, the air thick and damp. Your phone screen glows faintly on the nightstand. 3:13 a.m. The door hums in the wall, a low vibration that rattles through the bed frame. You tell yourself not to look, but your eyes slide toward it anyway. Something moves behind the surface. Not hands this time. A face. It presses outward, stretching the skin wood thin. A nose. A mouth. Two hollow sockets staring back. The features shift constantly, flickering through different faces. The girl, the boy, strangers you've never seen. Finally, your own. Your reflection grins from the door, its mouth moving soundlessly. You bolt upright, hard hammering. That's when you hear it. Knocking. Not from the door in the wall. From your front door downstairs. 3 raps. Slow. Deliberate. You don't move. You don't breathe. The knock comes again. And then a voice, muffled but clear, calling your name. Not the house's whisper. Not the man's command. Your own voice. Calling for you to let it in. The knocking stops, but the silence is worse. You don't remember falling asleep, yet dawn finds you curled on the floor, body stiff with splinters scattered around you. They've grown larger. No longer slivers, but chunks. Jagged shards of wood the size of your fingers, lying in piles by the bed, across the desk, beneath the door. You check your arms, your chest. The cracks have widened, spreading like roots. Some of the splinters match the gaps in your skin perfectly, as though pieces of you have fallen away in the night. The whisper is everywhere now, impossible to escape. Not in your ears, not in the air, but inside your head, threading through your thoughts like ivy. Sometimes you can't tell if you're thinking or if it's speaking. The girl hasn't returned. Neither has the boy. Only the man's voice remains, calm and constant. You can't fight forever. Better to walk through than be pulled through. You squeeze your eyes shut, clutching your head, shaking, whispering, "No, no, no." But when you open them, the door is breathing harder. Its seams bulge. And the black beyond it pulses, closer now. Almost through. That night, the whispers change again. They aren't outside. They aren't in your head. They're inside the room. You wake to the sound of breathing. Dozens of breaths, shallow and uneven, filling the space around you. The air tastes stale, sour, thick with rot. When your eyes adjust, you see them. Children. Lined against the walls of your bedroom. Sitting cross-legged on the floor, standing shoulder to shoulder in the corners, crowding the space until there's no room to move. Their eyes glisten pale in the dark, their faces cracked, splintered, mouths trembling. They hum together, low and steady, the same tune you heard in the street. The sound presses against your chest until your heart pounds in rhythm with it. One of them steps forward, a girl no older than 6. Her lips split into a jagged smile, and in a voice too deep, too layered, she says, "Almost time." You shut your eyes, bury your face in your hands. When you open them again, the room is empty. But the hum lingers, vibrating in the walls. And the door in the corner pulses in time with the tune, its seams splitting wider. You don't remember sleeping, yet morning arrives. The house outside your window looks different. Not the street, not the neighbors, the house. The whispering house. It shouldn't be there, shouldn't be across the road, but it is. Its roof crooked, its porch sagging, its windows yawning wide. You stumble to the window, clutching the sill. The house is closer now, impossibly close, as though it has stepped across the town to stand before you. And when you blink, it's gone. The shock doesn't fade. All day, you see pieces of it in the wrong places. a splintered shutter leaning against your fence, a patch of warped siding nailed across your shed, a cracked porch step lying in the street. It's not just inside your room anymore. It's spreading. By nightfall, you're afraid to look out the window again. But when the lights flicker and the whispering grows into laughter, you know it doesn't matter. The house is already here. The air tastes wrong. You wake with grit on your tongue, your teeth grinding against something coarse. When you spit into your palm, you see not saliva but dust, thick, gray, heavy. The smell of rot clings to it. It isn't just in your mouth. It's everywhere. On the floor, on your sheets, coating the dresser in a fine film. When you wipe your hand across the desk, it comes away thick, like ash scooped from a fire. The door is to blame. It exhales the dust with each heave of its breathing, coating the room in the remains of whatever lies beyond. The black cracks in its seams pulse wider, coughing up clouds of decay. And beneath it all, the whispering has become chanting. Hundreds of voices, layered and endless, repeating the same phrase. Step through. Step through. Step through. You claw at your ears, but it doesn't matter. The sound isn't entering from outside. It's blooming inside your skull. When you glance at the mirror, your reflection mouths the words along with them. That night you hear footsteps. Not outside this time. Not in the street. In the walls. They march steadily, circling your room. Up and down the hallway. Across the ceiling. A parade of hollow feet tapping through wood. You press yourself against the headboard, trembling. The shadows on the walls ripple as though dozens of figures are pacing just beyond the plaster. And then you see them, faint outlines pushing through. Hands, faces, shoulders bulging the wallpaper outward, straining to step into the room. Their mouths move soundlessly, but you hear the chant in your bones. Step through. The door thrums with a rhythm, swelling with each step, bulging outward. The cracks have widened so far you see more than blackness now. You see movement. Something is waiting just beyond the split, pacing with the others, pressing closer. And you know, soon, it won't wait for you to step through. It will come to fetch you. You stop leaving the room. What would be the point? The house follows wherever you go. The curtains stay drawn, but shadows seep through anyway. Long fingers crawl across the floor in the shape of branches, though no trees stand outside. Sometimes faces bloom in the dark, lips twitching, eyes hollow. One night you light every candle you own. Their glow should push the dark away, but instead it feeds it. Shadows lengthen, gathering in the corners, thickening until they rise from the floor like smoke. The children form from them first, their eyes pale, their mouths cracked with jagged smiles. They stand in a ring around your bed, their laughter low and steady. Then the man steps forward, tall, sharp, his face cut from shadow, eyes fathomless. His voice is calm, steady as ever. "Why suffer?" he asks. "You've fought long enough. Step through, and the hunger ends." His hand reaches for you, long fingers curling, almost gentle. Behind him, the girl flickers into view, her form broken, jagged, splintered. "Don't!" she screams. "It never ends. It never." Her words fracture into static. The man's shadow hand stretches closer. You close your eyes, praying to wake. When you open them, the room is empty again. But the door pulses, glowing faintly now, its cracks spreading like veins of light through rotten skin. The next morning, the sun doesn't rise. You wait by the window for hours, staring at the horizon. The sky should lighten, shift, glow, but it stays dim, a gray that never breaks. Time passes on your phone, the numbers crawling forward, but the world remains stuck in a half-night. The whispering doesn't pause. It has become a constant roar, louder than your own thoughts, shaping every silence. You step outside once, desperate for air, only to find the street empty. The town is gone. No houses. No cars. No neighbors. Only the road and the grass and the crooked outline of the whispering house, looming far too close. Its windows gape like black eyes. Its porch leans forward like a jaw unhinged. And though its distance never changes, you feel it advancing with each breath. Closer. Closer. Always closer. You stumble back inside, slam the door, collapse against it. But it doesn't matter anymore, because the house is already in here. The door in your room trembles, its seams splitting wide, blackness spilling like smoke. Something moves in that darkness. Something waiting for you. The whispering stops. It's sudden, absolute. One moment, the chant is in your skull, relentless, and the next, silence. It should be a relief. It isn't. The air hangs heavy, crushing. You realize how much you've grown used to the sound, how much the absence feels wrong, like stepping into a room where someone has just died. You sit in the stillness, ears straining for anything. The tick of a clock. The hum of the fridge. The faint rush of wind outside. Nothing. Then you hear it. A creak. Slow. Heavy. From the door in the wall. It exhales once, a wet sigh, and the silence deepens again. When you glance at the window, you see them. The children lining the street. Dozens. Hundreds. Perfectly still. Their mouths closed. Their heads tilted. Not whispering. Not humming. Just waiting. The silence is their worship. And you know, in that terrible hush, that the house has given you one last choice. Step through freely. Or wait to be taken. You catch your reflection moving again. Not just lagging this time. Not just twisting its smile. It walks away. You stand frozen as your mirrored self turns from the glass, stepping out of its frame. The surface ripples, warps, then clears, leaving only you behind. The other you stands across the room, skin riddled with cracks, splinters jutting from arms and shoulders. Its eyes are dark hollows. Its mouth twitches, splitting wider than yours ever could. When it speaks, the voice is yours, but layered with dozens of others. Why do you resist yourself? It steps closer. Every movement sheds splinters onto the floor, each shard twitching faintly like dying insects. You've already begun. You stumble back, pressing against the wall. No. The door behind you pulses, warm against your spine. Your reflection smiles. You'll step through soon. Then it collapses into splinters, a rain of wood clattering across the floor, skittering toward the door until they vanish into its seams. The whisper returns in a roar. It begins with a knock. Not from the door in the wall. From the other doors. First, the front door. 3 raps, slow and steady. Then the kitchen door. 4 raps, quicker, impatient. Then the bathroom door. 2 sharp taps, echoing in the pipes. Every door in the house begins to knock, one after another, a rolling drumbeat of wood on wood, hollow and endless. You press your hands to your ears, but the sound is inside your chest now, a rhythm in your ribs. The doors don't stop. They hammer in unison, shaking the walls, rattling the windows. And then, all at once, silence. The door in your room exhales. And from every other door in the house, the same whisper slips out in unison. Step through. She comes one final time. You wake to her standing at the foot of your bed, flickering violently. Her skin cracks so deeply she barely holds together. Her eyes are wide, frantic, her voice broken and ragged. It's coming, she gasps. You don't have long. You sit up, your own skin splitting with emotion. Tell me how to stop it, you beg. Tell me what I have to do. Tears streak her splintered face. You can't stop it. You can only refuse it. Until it takes you by force. Then what happens? Her body jerks, spasms. Her voice warps, twisting deeper, layered with others. Then you're part of it. Forever. Just another voice. She screams, clutches her head, and in that instant you see her whole. Not a girl, not a ghost, but a child of the house, cracked and hollow, her skin splitting to reveal wood beneath. Her scream cuts short. She shatters into dust. The air tastes of ash. And the whispering rises again, rolling like thunder. Almost. You cough in the night, and something sharp scrapes your throat. When you spit into your hand, it isn't phlegm. It's wood. A thin, wet splinter, slick with blood. You choke again, doubling over, retching. More splinters tumble onto the floor, clattering like teeth, each one twitching faintly before going still. Your chest burns, your ribs ache, and you feel them beneath your skin, crawling, shifting, pushing outward. You rip your shirt open. The cracks across your chest have widened into gaping seams. Something dark and fibrous writhes beneath, pushing against the surface. The whisper floods your skull, jubilant now. Almost ready. Almost whole. You collapse, trembling, surrounded by the fragments of yourself. When you glance toward the door, you see that the seams in its frame have spread wider, and within the blackness something stirs. Something waiting. The children march again. You hear them outside, footsteps in perfect rhythm. You drag yourself to the window and see them circling the house, dozens upon dozens, their cracked faces glowing faintly in the gloom. They no longer hum. They chant. Step through. Step through. Step through. Their voices climb higher, sharper, until the words are screams. Their heads snap back, jaws cracking wide as the sound pours into the sky. You stumble back, covering your ears. The man's voice cuts through the chaos, calm, unshaken. They'll keep calling until you answer. Why suffer their noise? Why prolong the pain? Step through, and the silence will be yours. The door pulses behind you, rattling the bed frame, rattling your bones. Splinters crawl from your skin, drawn toward it, clattering across the floor to vanish into the widening cracks. And in that moment you understand. The house isn't waiting for you to step through. It's building you into the door itself. You wake to voices. Not whispers this time, not chanting, chewing. The sound is wet, steady, methodical. You sit up slowly, dread anchoring your chest. They're at the foot of your bed. The children. Dozens of them, crouched low, heads bent, jaws working. They feast on the splinters scattered across the floor, snapping them up like brittle bones. Each bite is sharp, cracking, and with every splinter devoured, the cracks across your own skin deepen. One of the children lifts their head. Sawdust dribbles from their mouth. Their eyes glisten pale as they grin, teeth black and broken. Almost done, they whisper, before sinking back into the feast. You press yourself against the headboard, shaking, whispering, "Wake up, wake up, wake up." But you are awake, and the children do not fade. When the last splinter is eaten, they vanish in unison, leaving only silence. And the door throbbing with hunger. You lie in bed, afraid to move, afraid to breathe. Then you hear it. Not outside. Not in your head. From the other side of the door. A single voice, soft and low. "Help me!" It sounds human. Fragile. Desperate. You freeze, heart pounding. The voice comes again, weaker. "Please! I'm trapped. Please help me!" You stagger closer, hand trembling. Your chest aches with the urge to believe it. To believe there's someone, anyone, inside who isn't part of this. You place your palm on the surface. It's warm. Soft. Almost like flesh. The voice sighs with relief. "Yes. Yes. Open it." You jerk your hand back. The man's voice fills the room instantly, steady, firm. "You see? Someone's waiting for you. Don't keep them waiting." The girl does not appear. No warning this time. No plea. Only silence where she should be. And in that silence, you realize you're truly alone. The door groans, swelling outward. The blackness within pulses like a heart. It's almost through. You wake with a scream caught in your throat. Your chest feels torn open, raw. When you look down, you see it, the largest splinter yet, jutting from the center of your sternum like a stake driven outward. It pulses faintly, in rhythm with your heartbeat. Each throb forces it further through your skin, as though your body is birthing it. You claw at it, sobbing, trying to wrench it free. The pain is unbearable, fire spreading through your ribs. At last, it comes loose, tearing wetly from your flesh. You drop it to the floor, trembling. The splinter writhes, twitches, crawls across the boards like a living insect until it reaches the base of the door. The cracks flare, and the splinter vanishes into them. You collapse, chest heaving. Blood, or sap, trickles down your torso, sticky and dark. The whisper roars, jubilant now. Hole! 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 The door bulges outward, it seems splitting wide enough for pale fingers to curl through. You don't sleep. You don't move. You sit on the floor, back pressed against the farthest wall, watching. The door heaves. Its surface stretches and strains. The seams rip wider with each exhale, until you can see more than blackness within. You see faces. Dozens. Hundreds. Pressed together, mouths open, whispering in unison. Their eyes glisten pale. Their skin is cracked, splintered, jagged. Some are children. Some are grown. All are hollow. They reach through, hands clawing, beckoning. The man's voice cuts through the roar, calm and commanding. Now. Step through. The girl flickers once, faint and broken, her face webbed with cracks. Her voice is barely a breath. Don't. And then she's gone. The door tears open. The blackness surges forward, swallowing the room. Hands seize your arms, your legs, your chest, pulling, dragging. You claw at the floor, but the boards splinter beneath your nails, eager to let you go. The last thing you hear before the dark swallows you whole is the chorus of voices, joyous, triumphant, endless. Welcome home. The blackness swallows you whole. You expect solid ground, walls, something, but instead you fall. Weightless, endless, as though the house has dropped you into a well with no bottom. The whispering wraps around you in spirals, hundreds of voices pressing against your skin, your ears, your ribs. You scream, but your voice vanishes into the roar. Then, suddenly, you land. Not hard, not soft. As though the air itself catches you and sets you down gently. You're standing in a hallway. It stretches infinitely in both directions, lined with doors. Some stand open, others closed. Each door breathes faintly, their surfaces swelling and falling like chests. From the open ones spill whispers, laughter, sobs. The air reeks of dust and rot. The walls are damp, pulsing faintly with something like veins. When you turn, the door you came through is gone. Only the endless hallway remains. You move slowly, footsteps echoing too loudly in the silence. Each door you pass whispers your name, some in voices you recognize, the girl, the boy, the man. Others use voices of people you've never met, yet sound uncannily familiar. One door creaks open wider as you approach. Inside you glimpse a room that looks exactly like your bedroom, down to the unmade bed, the scattered clothes, the clock on the wall frozen at 3:13. You stagger back, heart hammering. The whisper from within the room sharpens into laughter. Further down, another door hangs ajar. Inside sits a child, pale and splintered, rocking slowly on the floor. She hums the same tune you've heard outside, over and over, until her head jerks up. Her eyes are hollow, her mouth cracked wide. "You're one of us now," she says. Her voice isn't hers alone, it's layered with hundreds of others. The door slams shut before you can move. You press onward, the hallway stretching endlessly. No matter how many steps you take, it doesn't end. And with each door you pass, the whispers grow louder. "Stay. Don't leave. You're home." The hallway bends. You don't remember turning, but suddenly you're facing a corner where a single chair sits beneath a dim, flickering bulb. A boy no older than 10 slouches in the seat, his hands folded neatly in his lap. His skin is pale, cracked, splinters jutting from his arms and neck. At first, he doesn't look at you. He hums softly, the same fractured melody that always coils in the back of your mind. When you try to pass, his head jerks up. His eyes are pitch black, wide and endless. "You're late," he says, his voice layered and hollow. "We've been waiting." "I don't want this," you whisper. "I didn't choose it." The boy's cracked lips twitch into a crooked smile. "None of us chose. None of us leave." He unfolds his hands. The skin of his palms is gone, replaced with wood dark and ridged. He taps his fingers against the chair, and the sound echoes like knuckles on a coffin. "You'll learn to stop fighting," he says. "The house teaches everyone, sooner or later." As you edge past him, his head turns with you, eyes following, unblinking. When you look back, The chair is empty. But the humming lingers, vibrating in your chest like a second heartbeat. Further along, you find a door unlike the others. It's wide open, and the room beyond gleams with faint light. Inside are mirrors. Dozens of them, lining every wall, tall and thin, cracked but whole enough to reflect. You step inside despite yourself, your reflection multiplying into hundreds, stretching into the shadows. At first, they mimic you. Each movement, each breath. Then the differences begin. One reflection smiles when you don't. Another tilts its head when yours is straight. Further down the wall, some no longer look like you at all. Their skin splintered, their mouths stretched too wide, their eyes hollow. You back away, heart racing. The reflections step forward. They press against the glass, their hands smearing condensation across the surface, their mouths moving in unison. Your name. Over and over. Louder. Sharper. Until the mirrors shake, until the sound drowns every thought. You turn and flee the room, slamming the door shut behind you. The glass shatters anyway. When you look back, shards of mirrors spill into the hall, each one reflecting a twisted version of you. Each one whispering your name. The hallway is no longer still. The walls expand and contract with each step you take, the wallpaper straining outward as though lungs press from behind it. The air grows thick and damp, heavy with mildew. Every inhale you take feels borrowed, as though the house decides if you deserve breath. You place your hand against the wall for balance. It pulses beneath your palm, warm, soft, faintly wet. When you jerk your hand back, your skin glistens with a thin smear of something dark and sticky. Sap or blood, you can't tell. The corridor bends without warning. Each turn leads to more doors, more shadows. Sometimes you think you hear footsteps behind you, but when you whirl, no one's there. Only the endless hall, breathing. At one point you stumble, catching yourself against the boards. The floor groans beneath your weight, and for a second, you hear something below, a chorus of whispers, muffled, eager, pressing up through the cracks. Down here, they sigh. Down, down, down. You sprint forward, desperate to escape the voices. The hall stretches endlessly, shifting beneath your feet. And just when you think it will never end, you find yourself standing before a door unlike the rest. It isn't cracked. It isn't breathing. It's carved from black wood, etched with deep grooves that form the shape of a spiral. The whispering beyond it is louder than anywhere else. You push the door open, though every nerve screams not to. Inside, the floor is bare stone, slick with moisture. The walls are carved with spirals, endless, overlapping, each one etched so deep the grooves glisten wet. They seem to move when you stare too long, pulling your gaze inward. In the center of the room sits a figure. A man, tall and gaunt, dressed in tattered black. His head is bowed, his hands folded neatly in his lap. When you step closer, he lifts his head. His face is pale, splintered, his eyes two pits of shadow. You made it, he says, voice calm, steady. The same voice that has haunted you from the beginning. Your knees weaken. Who are you? He smiles faintly. I was what you are. Now I am what you'll be. You shake your head. No. I won't step through. You already did. He gestures to the spirals. Every door you opened, every shard you carried, it was all part of the crossing. You're in the house now. You belong to it. The spirals pulse faintly, and with each throb, you feel the cracks in your skin widen. Splinters force themselves through, clattering to the floor. The man rises slowly, towering over you. There is no leaving. Only learning to whisper. The walls tremble with laughter, and the spiral keeps pulling. You run. Out of the spiral room, down the hall that breathes, your footsteps frantic against the warped floor. The laughter follows you, rolling like thunder, but you don't stop until the corridor splits. One passage is narrow, suffocating. The other is wide, lined with heavy doors of dark wood. You choose the wider path, desperate for space. It leads to a room vast as a cathedral, shelves stretching endlessly upward into the dark. A library. Every shelf is crammed with books swollen from damp, their spines splitting, their pages blackened with mold. You pull one free, coughing as spores puff into the air. The title is etched faintly in flaking gold, the names. You open it. The pages writhe with ink, thousands of names scrawled in frantic, desperate hands. Some blur as you try to read them, shifting before your eyes. Others shine sharply familiar. Your name is there, written over and over, dozens of times. The whispering rises in the stacks, voices sighing through the shelves. Shadows ripple in the aisles, tall and thin, watching. One shadow steps forward, splintered hand brushing across the shelves as it passes. A page rips free, fluttering down. You bend to pick it up. Your name is the only word written on it. Repeated until the page is black. You flee the library, clutching the page without realizing it. The halls close around you again, pulsing, alive. This time, the whisper is louder. Not hundreds of voices, but thousands swelling into a roar. You follow the sound until the hall spills into a chamber vast and echoing. The choir. Hundreds of figures kneel in rows, their bodies pale and splintered, their heads bowed. Their mouths move in unison, shaping whispers that blend into one endless chant. The sound rattles your bones, filling your chest until you can't breathe. You step closer, trembling. The figures rise in unison, their heads lifting. They are children, women, men, all hollowed, all cracked. Their eyes glow faintly as they open their mouths wide, wider, wider still, until their jaws split and their throats gape like tunnels. The chant stops. In perfect unison they scream. The sound tears through the chamber, a wall of noise so violent it drives you to your knees, clutching your ears until they bleed. The page in your hand bursts into flame, crumbling to ash. And through the chaos, one voice booms above the rest. The man's voice. Sing with us. The choir drops to silence. Their mouths hang open, waiting. The house waits for you to add your voice. You try not to scream. The choir waits for your voice, their mouths open wide, their hollow eyes fixed on you. The man's command still hangs in the air. Sing with us. You shake your head, trembling. No. The figures step forward in unison. Hundreds of feet striking the stone floor together, a thunder of splinter and bone. Their jaws remain open, throats yawning, a demand you cannot ignore. The cracks in your skin split wider. Your chest burns, your throat constricts. When you cough, splinters burst from your mouth, scattering across the ground like brittle glass. The sound that follows isn't human, not fully. A rasp, low and fractured, forced out of you. The choir shudders with delight. Their mouths twitch wider, their whispers rising again. You clutch your throat, desperate to hold the sound in. But the more you resist, the more the house presses. The walls pulse, the floor trembles, and your body betrays you. Another cough. Another splinter. Another whisper spilling from your lips, layered with voices not your own. The man's laughter fills the chamber. You see? You're already learning. You fall to your knees, hands pressed against the floor slick with dust and sap. The whispers pour from you now, unstoppable, your voice stolen, multiplied, drowned in theirs. And for the first time, you understand what the house wanted. Not your body. Not your fear. Your voice. Forever added to the chorus. The choir closes in. Their arms reach for you, pale and splintered, their fingers curling like hooks. They lift you gently, almost reverently, carrying you toward the farthest wall of the chamber. There, a door waits. Unlike the others, this one is not cracked or breathing. It stands whole and perfect, carved from smooth, black wood. The spiral is etched deep into its surface, glowing faintly as you're brought closer. The man stands beside it, tall and steady. His eyes gleam with hollow light, his smile calm. "This is the last door," he says softly. "Not out. Never out. Only in. Deeper. Where all voices join." You thrash weakly, but the choir's hands hold firm. The splinters in your skin pierce deeper, binding you. The whispers inside you swell until they're no longer whispers but a steady chant, pouring from your throat without your will. The spiral glows brighter. The door creaks open. Darkness waits beyond, vast and endless. The sound that pours from it is deafening, not whispers, not screams, but a single word repeated by countless tongues. Home. The choir pushes you through. The door slams shut. And your voice, once your own, joins theirs forever.